God damn it.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth. And the truth will set you free.
Well, you know what? I'm going to just do the thing and jump right into it.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Face the Truth. We got a special one this time. This artist is someone who I met through doing the podcast. As most of you know, I ask people if they want to submit work, they can share work, and it's kind of a cool way for people to get to see your artwork, and also a fun way to entertain the guest and that sort of a thing. And Christine had been sending in, I don't know how many that she sent in. She sent in quite a few samples of her work for lots of my guests. So, and every single time I'm like, whoa, that's an awesome painting. Whoa, that's an awesome painting. And so finally I thought, you know what? I need to ask her to come on the podcast. I don't really know her. I don't know much about her. All I know is that I think her art is pretty cool. And so we're going to have a fun conversation of trying to get to know each other and talking about art. So everyone, please welcome Christine Varadi. And hopefully I said, is it Varadi? I say it right?
Varadi. Yes.
Varadi.
Yes. Varadi.
Yeah. That sounds like a really expensive sports car.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have the Christine Varadi version or model. Yeah.
Yeah. You will have to.
Yeah. Just it goes really fast, but just doesn't do well with snow, you know. Yeah. So you told me the other day that so you're in Guatemala.
I live in Guatemala. Guatemala City. But my parents are Hungarians. And they escaped from Hungary when they were young. And then they met in Germany.
Oh, wow. So did they went from Hungary to Germany? And that's where they met?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So they both left separately. They didn't know each other, and then they met.
They didn't know each other. And then my mother, she was living with a Hungarian family in Germany, Hildesheim. And this family had a Hungarian restaurant. And my father used to go to that restaurant. That's where he met my mother.
Mm.
Yeah. And, well, after that, they moved to Morocco, to Casablanca. Oh. And my brother and I, we were born in Morocco.
Oh, wow.
We lived there until I was 9. Then we moved to, well, making it short, we moved to Guatemala. And since then, we are living here.
That's awesome. So, okay, first of all, that's quite the path that led you to Guatemala.
Yes.
But Casablanca happens to be like one of my favorite movies of all time. Have you seen that movie? Right?
Yes, I have. It's a beautiful movie.
I love that movie. I don't know what it is. It's like I tell some people about it. Like I remember when I started dating my wife, we would the first few weeks that we were together dating, we would like watch movies together that the other one hadn't seen before. So it's like almost like trying to catch up with what you haven't seen or what I haven't seen. And Casablanca is always one of those movies where it's like, oh, it's kind of an old movie, it's black and white and all this. But there's something about that movie that's just like, I don't know, like there's so many great lines and the music and I like the contrast in the lighting and everything. It's and I heard that movie was made in like a week or something. Like they filmed the whole thing like that quickly.
Oh, I didn't know that. No,
yeah, they used to make those movies so fast. But anyways, that's pretty cool. So you spent a lot of time there growing up.
Yes. I had a very, very beautiful childhood in Morocco. It was very, very beautiful, very nice.
And did you start becoming an artist at a young age or when did you start getting into that?
I always loved to draw and to paint and after school I went to the university to study graphic design, but then I decided I am more interested in art than graphic design by itself. And I've been painting and drawing, and also I have been working as a children's book illustrator for many editorials and some organizations, also like UNICEF, and to help on literate, how do you say it? The people who cannot read.
Oh, illiterate.
Yeah. Material to women so they can learn about self-esteem and hygiene and taking care of the babies and so many important subjects that they have to learn.
Oh, wow. So you illustrated books about that?
I made books, and also I made big drawings, like bigger cards, and I will show it. They will make a group and they will show the image around and they will talk about it, and this is how they start the process of learning.
Oh, wow.
It's very interesting. Really, it's very, very interesting. And even the drawings I made were for Indian women. And you have to know a little bit about the culture if you going to make some material, how they dress, how they behave, how they sit, a lot of little details that you need to know about so they can receive the information.
That's pretty cool. So is that something that was that like early on when you were, or do you still do that kind of stuff now, or like what? Like when was this kind of a thing? Is this in Guatemala, by the way? I'm just trying to figure out like where you are. Like,
no, it's
you're all over the world.
Yes.
Germany, Guatemala, Casablanca. It's too much. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm doing that. This kind of work are client works. It's for clients. And at the same time, I do my painting and my drawing and my research and my learning in art. I'm doing it almost by myself, reading, watching podcasts like yours, for example, or videos on YouTube or anything that gets across.
Yeah.
I will grow.
Yeah, that's the way that right now is like such a great time to be an artist. I mean, and it's funny because like I think about this when I was getting started. It was like when I was getting started in illustration, it was just before everything cool happened. So like when I was trying to figure out how to make it as an artist, it was really difficult to network with other artists. Really difficult to get a hold of other artists.
To have more information, more feedback.
Yeah, like
more...
I would search magazines, find out the artist's name, and I would start to get to know these artists by seeing their work not online, in magazines.
Not online, in magazines.
And then I would go online and try to figure out how do I find this artist and send him an email.
Yes.
And now it's just like there is just almost an oversaturation of like art and
everywhere
videos and everything, and it's just like this is a great time. I mean, Instagram alone,
oh wow,
so much art and like
so much art.
Yeah,
and so much wonderful artists. It's amazing. Every day I discover one new artist who is amazing, and and the next day another one, and so on and so on, and it's wonderful. And I'm always also very grateful with these artists who share their knowledge and their comments and how they think and how they use a technique, and it's very helpful, very, very.
What now? So most of the work that I've seen that you've submitted to the podcast, I believe, has always been done on an iPad, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because like it's funny because they're beautiful paintings, but there's a thing I've noticed about painting in Procreate. Coincidentally enough, I did a painting of Humphrey Bogart from Casablanca on my iPad, and I love the way that painting turned out, and I really enjoy painting on the iPad. There's a different experience painting on an iPad versus painting on a Cintiq. There's just something different. In some ways, I find it harder, but some ways I find it easier. Certain things are easier, certain things are a little bit clunky. But I've noticed when you paint on Procreate, there's like these little, when you zoom in, you can see these little, like almost holes, like little dots, like missing pixels in the painting. And right away I'm like, oh, I can tell that's painted on Procreate. So like I'll see, but it almost looks like a canvas painting where paint, when you took a brush stroke over the canvas, some of the little canvas textures didn't get touched by the paint, like they're left alone. So Procreate kind of does that, I think. And so that's when I see your paintings, I'm like, oh, I can tell it's Procreate because I can see those little dots, those little, like a little signature there. But your paintings are, I was going to ask you, like, what's the main brush that you like to use for Procreate?
Oh. Yeah, I forgot the name of the brush.
Is it the Salamanca brush?
I think that's the one. Yes.
Yeah, because that's the one that's like my favorite one to use, and I think that's the one that leaves those marks.
And there's a one, it's called Nico, I think. It's more like a thicker paint than when you put the brush in.
Yeah, it's got nice textures.
Yeah,
really nice textures.
I'm always looking for textures. I think it brings a lot to the image, to the painting. I love that. I love that painterly feel. The strokes also.
I just finished a painting for somebody, a private commission, and I think it turned out really cool. I'm really happy with it. But then, and the guy's happy with it, the client. But then he's like, I really like it a lot, but and he's like, and my mother loves it. Everyone's happy, but could you paint more texture into it? And I'm like, oh, because I mean, it's fine, it's what he wants, but it's like I already did the painting and I really like it. I think it looks great, but now I'm going back into it and having to paint texture into the painting when it's already done. It's kind of a weird way, because normally when you do a painting, you're painting with the texture the whole time.
Yes.
But it's weird to go back in and try to, it's like, oh, I'm gonna mess it up, like trying to add it later. But anyways, I was gonna ask you about your digital versus traditional, because I see you do traditional work, and I'm assuming that you were a traditional artist first before getting into digital, because your traditional work is beautiful. Like you do really nice oil and watercolor work. So I guess I'm curious about that. Like, when did you start getting into painting? And I really like, you're still like, there's one that I think I shared with a little teacup that you did, I think recently. It's just beautiful. It's really beautiful work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm decided that I'm going to work on a sketchbook with a small size of small paintings to concentrate better and to solve faster, if you want to say, the painting. But I started to paint when I was very, very young, and I tried a lot of different techniques. Gouache, I used the gouache a lot. Also, ink, watercolor ink. It's called Ecoline. They are in little glass bottle.
Oh, like
They are beautiful ink.
is it like
And
Dr. Martin dyes? Is that what it is? Something like that. Is it like a dye or like a almost like a inky
Yes.
watercolor?
It's an inky
Like-
watercolor.
Yeah, it's like okay, I think I know what you mean. Yeah,
for
that's
illustration. Yeah.
that stuff though. Is it so I've used that stuff before, but is that the stuff you have to be very careful because you have to put a lot of water to it because a little drop will like
It's very saturated.
yeah, you have to like really
Yes.
water it out and yeah.
Yes.
Because otherwise you'll just like stain the paper with it
Yes.
if it's the stuff I'm thinking.
But it's very beautiful. The
Yeah,
colors
it's nice.
are vibrant.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's making me want to paint just thinking about it. Yeah. I love I haven't gotten to paint with watercolors for a while, but I love watercolor. That's one of my favorite things is watercolor. But that's so awesome because you know, I think some of the first times that you submitted work and I saw it right away, I think I might have even said it on the podcast. I'm like, oh, this person's a painter. Like this
You can tell.
like, yeah, because I mean, not that the digital painting, you know, trust me, it frustrates me when someone sees a digital painting of mine and goes, is that a painting or is that digital? I'm like, it's a painting and it's digital. But
Yeah.
you
They
can
think-
tell.
Yeah.
You can tell though, looking at certain digital artists, you can tell that person actually paints, you know, with paint.
Mhm. Yeah.
But there's a lot of digital painters out there that do really beautiful work. But if you gave them a paintbrush and oil or whatever, they wouldn't even know what to do, you know?
Mhm.
So I always love it when I can see an artist working digitally and I can be like, oh, I can tell that this person knows this person knows what oil paint smells like. You know?
Well, also
Yeah.
maybe because when I'm painting on Procreate, I'm trying to paint and draw like I'm painting with oils,
Yeah.
avoiding layers. I'm avoiding all these gradients and changing colors and all
Yeah.
the digital gadgets.
So you keep it pretty straightforward. Like you're pretty so you don't use layers at all?
Sometimes, but not too much.
Yeah.
Because my goal is to get better with oils and with drawing, not so much with the digital.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
digital work is like to practice and paint in front of the TV, watching a movie, or in my bed, or on a cafe, or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But
That's one thing I like about it is it's really nice to be able to carry it around and just play around. And that's mostly I haven't really done any really finished pieces on my iPad, except for maybe that Bogart piece. Everything else is just like sketching and playing, you know, or quick drawings. But I love to work on something like that and then transfer it to a canvas. You know, I think it's the best way for me anyways. Yeah. Like if you're going to do an oil painting, to transfer the drawing that way. But so that's pretty cool. So you basically you're working as traditionally as possible using the iPad when you're working digitally. How do you set it up for like when you're painting someone? What do you have like a set kind of palette that you are thinking of when you paint somebody, or you just kind of start grabbing color and building it from there, basically?
Yeah, I try to when I take the original picture, I try to lower the intensity of the colors a little bit, so my palette would be more in a stretch. How do you say it? Smaller range.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I don't use so many colors. I try to stick to a very small palette, and then I start to make a first layer and then building up.
So do you actually do like an underpainting type of a thing?
Yeah, more or yeah. Just the locate the dark first, then the light, and then the background, and then I start building up on.
That's awesome. How long does it usually take you to work on a piece like that?
Yeah, that asked me once that question, and I sometimes 10 hours, 12 hours, but not in a row,
Yeah.
Stop. And it helps me a lot to leave the work and do something else. So my mind will, when I come back, I will see it differently. Or
well, it's funny because like when I get submissions for the podcast, everyone does, everyone's doing like a really, really good drawing, and everyone's got their style, and but then all of a sudden yours pops in. I'm like, holy cow, she spent a long time on this. But it's always really cool because everyone's I'm sure you've noticed this, like watching the podcast, like the guests are like having a good time, they're like laughing or looking at drawings, and all of a sudden yours pops up and they're like, whoa, wow, I can't believe someone spent that much time looking at my face. But it's pretty cool to see. I think it's good for people that are watching this too, just because it's good to know that in order to produce work of high quality, you have to put the time in. You have to, it takes work. It's not something that just happens, a lot of people just want everything yesterday. But yeah. Sorry.
Clients, especially clients, they want everything for yesterday.
Yeah. So what kind of client work are you typically doing besides the other ones that you're talking about? Do you do like a lot of private commissions for people?
I do private commissions, yes, and also the jobs that I talked about, the children's book illustration. That's what I do. So in my personal work.
So for the children's book illustration type stuff, do you is that like do you work with actual book company where you have a certain amount of time to complete a project, and that?
Yes.
And are you doing those kind of works traditionally, or are you doing those digital?
I did it traditionally, but now that I discovered digital, I enjoy it much more, and I'm working on digital.
Yeah.
It's easier to present your work, to present the first sketches for the client, also to visualize the final image.
Yeah. It always blows me away. I've got a few friends that are doing illustration, and I have a few of them that still do everything completely traditional, and it's unreal to me, like how much. Like I've got one friend, Zach, who he's been on my podcast twice, I think, and Zach Meyer is his name, but he has like this technique that's just super intricate, like graphite drawings that are like huge, like just really, really big drawings that he spends all this time, like just super, super tight rendering. And then he's got brushes and charcoal and all this kind of things. And then he scans it all in, and then he does maybe some light digital coloring into the drawing.
Okay.
But the amount of time that he puts into these things and how big they are, and he's working for some of the same clients that I work for, and I know what the deadlines are like. It's like, dude, you're making me feel like A slacker. Like, I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, there's a lot of illustrators I know that work traditionally, and because I know the struggle of like the one thing that I can't get my head around about this is that, you know, when you're working on a deadline for a client, like a children's book or whatever, you know, there's always going to be those like changes that are asked, like could you maybe move this or change that or whatever. And if you're doing that with watercolor or something like that, you want to shoot yourself in the face. Like, you know, it's like, it's kind of crazy. But that's the nice thing about, you know, where the iPad, for example, also like Wacom and Photoshop and everything, but like the iPad is I think the one thing that's really been like growing and getting better and better and better, where it's becoming more of everything in one package. Like you can do all your emailing on it and your sketching and
Everything.
just send things off like instantly, and like
Yes, it's a big help. It's really a big.
I mean, are you talking to me right now through your iPad that you draw on?
I am.
See, there you go. Multi-purpose. You're talking to me on the same thing that you draw with. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. What an amazing time we live in.
Yes, truly.
So when it comes to your traditional work, are you like when you, for example, when you do like that teacup that you did, that's like in a sketchbook, you said?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Oh, I was gonna say, when you do work like that, I'm just curious. It's got a really nice like movement to it. Are you, when you do traditional work like that, are you more of a direct painter when you do like just start just mixing your color and going right in, or do you kind of build with an underpainting first on those?
I go right in. I still didn't figure out how to make a proper underpainting, and I think I don't have the patience. I just have to jump into with the colors. And yes, and this is my goal, to work on small paintings and fill up the sketchbook, so just to see where it's going to take me. It's part of my self-education in art. To have challenges and to figure it out what is going to come next.
Yeah, that's well, it's good practice too. I mean, to fill up sketchbooks like that. Is it something that you give yourself to do like weekly? Like, are you trying to set aside a certain amount of paintings you want to do a week, or? I'm
trying. I have to organize myself. I have to also focus, concentrate, because I have so many distractions around me, and really I need to sit down and work every day, and I try to do it.
Yeah.
Even if for 1 hour or 15 minutes, it doesn't matter. I have to do something.
Yeah.
Or prepare my colors, or put my table and all the things that I will need.
That's the thing, isn't it? Like
it's
art.
Very
yeah. It's
because our profession is very lonely, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You work. Yeah, you don't have feedback. You don't have.
That's why I do the podcast, so I can talk to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how I learned a lot, listening to other artists. And I can see we are all struggling with the same problem. It's finding the time, the discipline, what are you going to paint next, how are you going to do it. And when I'm working, I'm always having long conversations with myself, like what I'm doing, what am I doing, why, and why I'm falling always on the same spot, and what do I need to move on?
Yeah.
These kind of things.
Yeah, we
And I
all
always
deal
drawing.
with it. Yeah, we all deal with that stuff. It's like I find I I get myself too wrapped up in other things where I don't know, like I don't have much free time for my own art,
Mhm.
which is something I want to try to make more time for. But like I'm lucky and happy to have commissions and to be able to work on art and everything. But at the same time, I've got paintings I've started that I haven't been able to work on forever, and they just stare at me and they're like, "Yoo-hoo, I'm over here,"
They are like ghosts haunting
Yeah,
you.
I know. It's like, stop looking at me. You
Yeah.
stop. Yeah.
It happens with me all the time.
Yeah.
I get very excited with the one painting, and at the middle, it's like something is gone. Something is missing. Something is wrong. Something is off, and until I figure it out, it just goes into the pile of the other one, the other lost drawings, paintings. Yeah.
I'm gonna look something up real quick. Hold on a second. So I am looking at Guatemala.
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 It's a beautiful country. You have to come to Guatemala and visit Guatemala. The people are marvelous and the weather is the best. You're never too cold, too hot. It's always wonderful.
And where in Guatemala do you live? Are you close to
In the city. I am in the city, Guatemala City.
Oh, okay. I see that on the map here. So how far is that to the Pacific Ocean?
120 kilometers.
Oh,
More or less.
I don't know kilometers. I'm American.
In miles,
yeah.
I think. I don't.
It's okay. I was just teasing.
I don't want to say a stupid thing.
No, it's okay. No, it is really beautiful. I'm looking at some pictures right now. So what's the weather? What's the weather like? Is it year-round pretty nice?
Yes, we have the dry season and the rainy season, but it never gets to, I think in Celsius, 27 would be the hottest, and when it's really, really cold, 8 maybe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm looking at these pictures. They're just beautiful. It looks amazing there. We
have the Maya city Tikal in the jungle. It's very pretty, very interesting.
I actually almost went to Guatemala for when I was 18. I had done I had done missionary work when I was like 17 years old. I spent the summer in Mexico, in Mexico. Yeah, I spent 3 months there, and then I went back home. And then when I was graduating high school, I was going to go to art school in New York, and my dad was like, "No, you got to take a year off, and you got to do some mission work or something like that before you go off to art school." And
nice.
So I almost did a thing in Guatemala where I was going to go to Guatemala for a year. And it looked really cool. I remember being kind of excited because it seemed like real like jungle and different. It was like just beautiful like towns. And but then there was one in Chicago that was like an inner city thing where it's like with art and music and all this kind of stuff and helping the homeless in Chicago. And I was like, I think I'll do that. So that's what I ended up doing. And it destroyed my life for like many, many years. So maybe I should have went to Guatemala is the point. Maybe that's what I should have done, because it would have messed up my basically all of my 20s and half of my 30s. So that, yeah, maybe I should have just scrapped it all and went to New York and went to art school.
Yes.
But anyways, Guatemala looks beautiful. It would have been much better than what I ended up doing. Oh man.
No, but
But
you should come visit with
yeah.
your with children.
Yeah, it looks beautiful, man. Those what's it been like there for you during all this pandemic stuff? Are things more relaxed there now, or is it still kind of is it, I mean, is it still locked down, or what's it
No,
like?
we don't. No, we're not having the lockdown now. In last year we did, and it's like all over the world. The contagious are going up.
Mm.
We had a lot of sick people for New Year and for Christmas, all the parties and visiting, everything. But yeah, I don't know. It's not going to be better or going to change. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just curious because like it seems like, I don't know, it's an interesting time that we're all, everybody, we're all experiencing basically the same thing. It's not, it's interesting that it's the whole planet. And I find it funny that, like, I hear people in America talking about it, and you hear them arguing about things and debating about things in a way where it almost feels like they lose grasp of the fact that no, the whole world is going through this. It's not just they think it's like just it's American politics, and that's why this is happening with COVID and all. It's like no, this is happening everywhere. This is not an American thing. This is a world thing. So, but it is interesting, and even though it's terrible, it also in a way brings everybody together, I think, too, because we're all having to deal with it at the same time.
Yes,
So,
we do.
has it how has it affected just life in general there where you live?
Well, people are using masks, and now children are starting to go back to school.
Oh, that's good.
And people are trying to do their daily lives, but it's you have to be careful. You have to use your mask, wash your hands, and keep distance. And that's the part that it's really being a problem, but not only here, all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
When one got sick and a family, and then it spreads.
Well, it's like it's interesting to me. It's like, okay, like I remember before 9/11 happened, going to airports. I used to be in bands, and we'd get flown places, and we'd play concerts and shows, and then we'd fly to another city and whatever else. And airports were so laid back. I remember one time I went to an airport. I went to the airport just to pick up a friend of mine, and you don't have like now you can't just go into the airport. You have to buy a ticket. You have to go through all you can't just go and meet your friend when he gets off of the plane. But back then we just go through the security and walk through the airport, like no big deal. Like no one checks out who you were. I remember this one guy, he was this punk rock guy, and he had all these like pins on him and different things, and he had a belt that he was wearing that was made out of bullet casings. Okay, he looked like Chewbacca from Star Wars. He had like these like bullet casings going across his belt, and he had a huge knife on him, like a big knife. And he goes to go through the metal detector, and they just looked at him and they go, come through. They're like, they didn't even check him because they're like, you look ridiculous, just come through. They just let this guy walk through that could just stab anybody. It was crazy. Then it takes 9/11 to happen for people to be like, oh, we should probably like check people before they go into the airport. and then like, yeah. And then some guy puts a bomb in his shoe and now we all have to take our shoes off. So it's like, we learn from these things. And sometimes it's hard to like understand, like, why, how did it take 9/11 for us to decide that that pilots should lock the door so nobody could go into the pilot? Like, that seems like the most obvious thing. No one should be able to bother the pilot. But before that, you could just open the pilot door.
Yes.
Like, that's insane. That's insane that was a thing that we could do. Yeah. Now there's, of course, it's like they shut it and nobody can get in there. It's like, that's how it always should have been. The one person that should be protected all the time keeps the plane flying. No one should be able to bother that person. But it takes a tragedy for people to go like, oh, maybe we should do that. But same thing with COVID. Like, there's now, like, you know, people have like glass things over food in restaurants when you're ordering food. So when you're talking, you're not spitting, you know, whatever. It should always be that way. It should always be that way. Or like, if you even have a common cold, you shouldn't go out. You should cover your face if you go out, but you should just try to relax. But these are things that are common sense. It's I'm not even saying if you have COVID. If you have a cold, you're not feeling well, you should probably stay home and not go out and mingle with people.
Yeah,
this is
spreading.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do you remember in the planes they used to smoke?
Yeah.
There was a smoking section, and there were ashtrays with every seat.
And how silly is that there was a smoking section on an airplane, as if everyone else wasn't getting affected by it. They think the smoke just stays in that one spot. You know, yeah. Oh, we're in the smoking section. We're not bothering anybody else. Meanwhile, everyone's coughing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people used to smoke in movie theaters. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Yes.
But it's just funny, like, how we go through these phases and these stages where like things don't change until something crazy happens, and we're like, oh, that's not a good idea, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway. But I'm glad that you're doing well, and it seems like you know, you seem like a very productive, hardworking person.
Thank you.
When you
I'm not doing enough.
You don't think you're doing enough?
I wish. Yeah.
Excuse me. I have a bad head cold right now, and I'm not going to be going anywhere this weekend. I'm going to snuggle with a blanket and drink a lot of red wine. That's what I'm going to do. Drink a lot of red wine and watch movies and snuggle on the couch.
With cognac. Hot milk and cognac in it.
Ah, yeah.
And you sleep all night.
My wife tonight is gonna make a faux, like Vietnamese. She's gonna make faux. Do you know what that is? It's like a Vietnamese soup.
Okay. Yes, I know.
Like with chicken and but like make it really, really hot and put a lot of sriracha in there. So I'm hoping that it drains my head, just like, yeah, that's the plan.
It's a good plan.
Yeah, I told her, I said, I need to drain my face. My face needs to be drained out.
Yeah.
But there was something I was wanting to ask you.
You said about my work. You were talking about.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, like, what's currently on the, like, what are you currently in the middle of or working on, or is there something like a project that you're kind of working on that you're excited about?
I'm excited about finding old photographs and turning them into and work with the oil, but not to make them so realistic, but playing more with shapes and big spots of light. And I don't know if I'm telling you this is what I would like to do, because there's something about old Polaroid photographs that has a magic to it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's nostalgia, maybe, I don't know. But it has a very nice feel. And this is what I'm interested.
Oh, man. This is going to frustrate me so much. There's an artist, and I cannot think of his name right now. I always blank on this guy's name. I think it starts with a G or something like that. But it's going to frustrate me. Anyways, there's this artist in Chicago, in the modern section. There's this artist that I really love his work. And I saw his work in Austria as well. But he does these huge oil paintings that they look like a giant, like old photograph or even Polaroid, where I just love, I want to do something like this myself, where it's, you know, like in an old photo or even a Polaroid where, you know, a lot of details seem lost because there's like this like real soft kind of almost out of focus blurry thing. But,
that's what you just, that's
it's beautiful.
what I'm looking for. Yeah, and I find it.
And he'll do these paintings that are just huge, and they're almost like these out of focus photos, and they look gorgeous. And when you walk up to the painting, you just see how loose it is. Yeah, it's all loose. It's like, whoa. It's like I'm blanking on this dude's name. It's frustrating, but I wonder if I can find his name.
Jason, do you do that when you're talking to someone and on the everyday? I am always drawing in my head. Like I'm talking with someone and I'm looking at the shapes on the light hitting on and the nose, and this side is brighter, that side is cooler, and I'm always doing it.
Oh yeah. No, I think I found him.
Oh, I will write it down so I can look for it.
I'm not 100% sure if this is the right artist, so I'm going to look, but I'm going to see if it is. No, I do that all the time. I love to, you know, I'm always like, even when I'm talking to you, I'm looking at the lighting and the shapes, and I'm like thinking, yeah, this is Gerhard Richter.
Gerhard
Richter. Like, there's a lot of his paintings now are these like really colorful paintings where he uses what do you call it, like a spongy thing, and he smears them together and stuff. That's like something what he's been doing the last like 10 years or whatever. But if you see his paintings, he'll have like out of focus blurred paintings. I'm trying to find them now, but anyways, his I'm gonna look up here we go, paintings. I'll see if I can share with you on the screen here.
Oh, that would be nice.
Right now I'm seeing all his weird colorful paintings, which they're kind of cool, but it's not what I'm talking about. It's
and what I'm trying to do also is discipline myself to put down one color and next to it the next color, not on top of it, and it's not so easy to do.
All right.
Instead of making layers and layers and layers, I'm trying to nail it right away, like a la prima, to put one color, then the next one next to it. I don't know. Okay.
Do you see this painting?
Oh, this is beautiful. It's beautiful.
So
that's what I meant.
Yeah, but these paintings are really, really big. And when you see them up close, it's like so loose, and it's like it's amazing. And then when you stand back, it looks like this beautiful photo. I'm trying to trying to find these other I don't know. There's other paintings that he's done that are just like, oh, here's a good one. Oh, why is it so small? Sorry, hold on. This is, for some reason it's really small. I'm gonna see if I can find a larger version. I don't know what's going on here, but here's here, let me do this real quick. I don't know why I can't get it larger than this, but can you see that?
Yes, it's very small, but I can see.
Yeah, I don't know why the paintings are so small on the screen, but he has a lot of these paintings like this, but the paintings are actually really, really big. And so when you see them up close, it's just like, it almost looks like a blurry mess, and you have to stand back to actually see it. And it's, so anyways,
they're really wonderful.
Yeah, his if you can look at,
we'll Google it.
Yeah. So like if you Google his name right now, there's like, you'll see like these crazy, weird, colorful paintings, and he takes like a squeegee. I've seen videos of it where it's all this crazy colors, and then he takes a squeegee and he pulls it across the paint and does these like almost soft, blurry things. Yeah, it's pretty interesting looking. But what I'm more interested in is those paintings that I was just showing you. Like, he'll have like an old couple walking down the street together, and it looks like out of focus, and it's just, there's something almost like haunting about it. That's just really nice. Yeah,
there's a nice atmosphere on the image.
Yeah, I know. I love it so much.
And the colors are different. The green are more artificial, and because the photographs are getting older, the colors get to change a lot.
Yeah, no, I think there's something about that aesthetically that is, I don't know. You like, when I see like paintings like that, I want to put on some really, really nice music, have some wine, and just look at the painting. It's like there's something, there's like a kind of want to be in a dark room and just like, I love that. Actually, what I want to do now is show you some fan art of you. So,
wow.
So it's come full circle for you, Christine, because now you get to see other people. Yeah. So let me do this. Actually, just realized I need to open the file real quick.
Okay.
And then we will. So
that's the part that I always enjoy the most of your podcast.
All right.
Okay.
Here you go. You see that? So this is by Mark Schmid.
Oh, Mark, that's very good.
All three different passages.
Wow, I really like it, and the colors. Monsieur Jacques, merci beaucoup. C'est très, très joli.
By Monsieur Jacques Lamonnier. I love his
I like
his
his style. Yeah, he's a really good painter, and the drawings are very, very nice. Every time I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I love his drawings a lot. They're really nice. And this is by Mr. Pants. I always think it sounds like Mr. Pants, but Mr. Pants. So he actually did this version first, and then he sent me a second version.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. This is an interesting.
I like the colors. Yeah.
Yeah, it almost feels like a gouache painting to me. It's kind of nice.
Yes. And what is it? The first one was graphite, right?
Yeah, this one is a digital painting. The first one was pencil. Yep.
pencil.
But yeah, very nice.
Colors. Yeah, yes.
Nice 3D effect of the
And
features
nice
coming out.
nose.
Yeah. Gotta be careful. You
A
can't,
little bit red.
yeah. You can't have delicate glasses around anywhere around you. Just don't excite you too much. You might turn quick, knock something off the shelf.
Yeah, someone can get blind. Oh,
This is by Ray Shipman.
great. Thank you.
I
Is
think
it digital also, right?
What is- what is-
it's-
this is digital. Yeah. I think he did another one as well. Yep, here's another one that he did.
Oh, thank you. That's nice.
So you're getting people are doing multiple versions.
Yay! What an honor. You,
And
I really appreciate. This is Dominic.
yeah, Dominic Zeilinger. Yep.
Dankeschön. Thank you,
Dominic
Dominic.
Zeilinger.
Yeah, he has a unique style, and I really like how he does his simplification. You know,
Yeah. I like how the little space in your hair missing here looks like
yes,
one of them just fell down and became one of the eyebrows.
yes,
Just like popped out that piece and oh, that's an eyebrow.
yeah.
And he almost could like use another one of those shapes for the nostril, you know, keep that those shapes repeating like that.
To keep a rhythm.
Yep. Yeah, I like his designs. He does really nice design work.
No, he's very good. He's very good.
This is
Oh,
Paula Petwani.
thank you, Paula. Thank you. That's very nice.
Yeah.
This one must be watercolor or watercolor. It's not gouache or an ink, maybe.
I mean, it looks watercolor to me. It looks like it's and
I
maybe
like the colors.
even some maybe to me the bottom looks like digital color added to it, like a little bit.
Oh, really?
Just the bottom part where it gets smooth
Yeah.
looking, it almost looks
Uh-huh.
digital.
Yeah.
Could be wrong though.
Yeah.
And
Hey.
always the headliner, Juan Gastelum. And
Gracias.
where
Gracias, Juan.
gotta find the hidden alien. He always puts an alien in there. I don't know.
Yeah, I was looking for the alien, but I can't find it.
I don't see one in this one.
On a motorbike. My husband now he's buying motorcycles. He's very, very enthusiastic with that. So
That's awesome.
yeah, that's a sign. I have to learn how to drive a motorbike.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for submitting the work.
I thank everyone for taking the time and doing these marvelous drawings and paintings. Thank you.
So, does your husband take you like motorcycle and like rides? You get to like cruise on?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet. He's just starting.
Oh, he's just starting.
Yes.
Yeah, don't do it for like 10 years. He is not ready. Okay. My dad. So I grew up with my dad. Not to freak you out or anything, but I grew up. My dad rode motorcycles, and I always wanted to like ride a bike. But my dad had a couple accidents, you know, when he was like in his 20s. He's okay, but he definitely got hurt, but he was okay. But my dad used to tell me all the time, never ride a motorcycle if you're not willing to crash. Because he was like, you will always like, because it's just like, it's, you know, it's taking risks, but if you're very careful, I'm sure your husband will be just fine.
He will be fine. He will be fine.
Yes, but I never went for it because I always felt like I am too accident prone and
Really?
like too clumsy. And if I were to actually, I did. Now I'm thinking about it, when I was in high school, my friend had these dirt bikes, and I got to ride on his dirt bike one time, and that was the only time because I crashed it. I was driving through the woods, and it was so much fun. And I remember going through, and it was going too fast, and I hit a bunch of leaves, and it slipped on leaves, and I crashed right into a bush of it's burning needles, or I can't remember what you call it, but it was like these needles that they burn when they touch your skin. I crashed into that. That's the last time I rode a motorcycle. So I shouldn't ride motorcycles. Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
No, it'll be fun. I'm always jealous because I think that riding I always think it'd be so much fun to like ride across country or something, or go for like a nice like scenic trip on a bike.
Yeah.
Like in the United States, like the area where the Grand Canyon is, like that kind of area, just to cruise around.
Beautiful.
Oh, it'd be so awesome.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
But then you're gonna have to start riding, and you guys are like, maybe you get one of those motorcycles with the little thing on the side, the side cart. Yeah. That would be pretty awesome. You guys could be like a little duo, little gang, a little biker gang.
We'll be the biker gang. Yeah.
Yeah. You could have on the side of it just says Varadi, like that. It's like I said, it comes full circle from the beginning of the talk. It sounds like a nice sports car. Scratch that. It's going to be a motorcycle. The Varadi. It's like, that sounds like a motorcycle.
Does it?
I think
Hungarian, so. In Hungarian, it means from the castle.
Oh, from the castle. See, that's a great motorcycle. We came from the castle. That's where we came from. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Christine, it's been so fun to talk with you, and just to get to know you a little bit better. And thank you for submitting art. Please continue. It's always great to see your work.
Oh, thank you.
Before we get going, if you want to let people know like where they can find you and follow you and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, I have my Instagram. You can follow me on christinevaradi. And I don't know, Christine with CH.
I'm putting it right here, right now. People, they're going to see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're going to see it. So awesome. Thank you so much for joining me for this. And everybody, please check out her stuff, check out her work. And also just want to throw this out there to everybody. Last week I had Greg Manches on. We had a great talk, but we had an even awesomer talk afterwards, which can only be seen on my Patreon page at patreon.com/Jason Seiler. And we basically, I'm going to be doing this once a month on my Patreon, where I talk with an artist, but it's not just a talk. We actually go through, I think with Greg, we looked at maybe like 20 to 30 or more of his sketches and drawings, and then a bunch of his paintings. And we look up close at the detail of the paintings and the textures. And Greg talks about his process and everything. So it was really cool. But you can see that on my Patreon. I'm not sure who's going to be next month, but next month I'll try to find something cool for that as well. So please check out my Patreon, help support what I'm doing. Helps me to continue doing the podcast and everything else. So, and it helps me put food in my baby's bellies, So, so thank you so much, everybody. And we'll see you all next time.
Thank you, Jason.